Hey, welcome back. My name's Justin. So as you probably noticed, there are a lot of sales going on right now in the world of electronic drums because of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Week, and also some of these deals aren't just going to like November 26th. Some of these deals are actually going to stretch all the way into December or even in January in some cases. By the way, just as a quick disclaimer, there was an early version of this video where I took a look at other websites in like European countries, like Drum Tech, Tom, and Gear for Music. But the problem that I've learned is that I don't really have my finger on the pulse of what's a good deal or a bad deal in European countries. So I'm really just going to stick to what I know and talk about the US market, especially because of currency conversions and taxes and stuff. It makes everything a little bit complicated. Okay, so website number one is going to be edrumcenter.com. Looks like Yamaha has put nearly all of their electronic drums on sale. The only drum set that I see missing here is like their DTX 8 series, but everything else is definitely on sale. Starting off with the DTX 10 line. There's the KX, which is the one with TCS pads. Then there's the KM, the one with mesh pads. There's about a $500 price difference there. Apparently, this was originally selling for $5,169, and the mesh one was going for $4,620. This is not crazy low pricing, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. I feel like they really would have had more success, though, if they had it at the same price level as the TD27 KV2, which in my opinion is the closest rival to this drum set. I really do like this drum set, though. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying that I feel like they could have afforded to go a little bit more aggressive on pricing, but it is what it is. Next up, we have the Roland TD27 KV2, which is selling for $3,000 or $3,300 if you buy the one that has the KD180L kick drum package. So that's the one that comes on the VAD 307 and the VAD 306. The reason why I like this drum set so much is that at $3,000, you're getting the flagship snare drum, hi-hats, and ride cymbal, and they're pretty much best in class for each one of those categories. In addition, the tom pads are great. The kick drum is probably the weakest part of the kit, but it's still solid. You got very nice crash cymbals. You got a very, very solid module in the TD27. This is a good deal for $3,000. Next up is a drum set that I'm really happy to see on sale, and that is the Yamaha DTX 6K3X. This drum set used to cost $1,900, which in my opinion was really overpriced for what it is. Not because the drum set is bad, like the module is better than the TD17, which is its arch nemesis in this price range, but it's just that the drum set itself, the pads are a little bit on the small side. But now that it's $1,430, I feel like this is definitely a much better buy, and it's actually a pretty easy recommendation now at this price. I kind of hope they hold this price for a very long time, because that's probably what it should have been selling for all along, in my opinion. Next up, we got the Roland TD07 KVX for $1,200. This is also a very, very solid drum set. This is like a very easy recommendation to learn on because you get the hi-hat on the stand, you get the 3-zone ride cymbal, I believe, you get the 12-inch snare drum, and the TD07 module isn't half bad. It doesn't have all the capabilities of the TD17, especially on the output side, but again, this is a great drum set to learn on. The next drum set is the Yamaha DTX 6K2X for $1,200. To be honest, this one, it has a massively better module than the Roland one, and it's not a bad drum set, but the problem is they're still sticking with rubber tom pads. You got to have premium tom pads. Whether or not that's mesh or TCS, it doesn't really matter, but I just feel like that little thing alone will stop this one from selling in the numbers that Yamaha would probably hope. So yeah, this drum set, I'd probably skip it. Next up, we got the Roland SPD SX Pro and the Roland SPD SX. You can buy the Pro version for $900 or $950 if you want the carrying case, and you can buy the SPD SX, the baseline edition, for $649. The SPD SX Pro, I'm actually a little bit surprised they're putting this on sale like this because it's a really, really new device. I played it a couple of times. It is really, really good. It's beyond what I personally need. This is like the most powerful sample pad in the whole industry. It is really, really good, but it's beyond what I think most drummers would need. So if you need a sample pad, for most people, you'd probably be just fine buying the SPD SX. But if you are a pro and you're actually going to use all the features and really, really enjoy the functionality they built into the Pro version, this does a lot of what people have been asking Roland to add to the SPD SX for many years at this point. And getting the bag with it for an extra $50, if you're a pro drummer and this is like your hybrid setup, then yeah, that's actually worth the extra $50. Next up, we got the Yamaha DTX 6KX for $750. It used to sell for $1,000. I gotta say, this is actually a pretty decent deal for this drum set. I realize it probably won't make a lot of people excited because once again, you don't get 2 crashes, you get rubber tom pads, but this is a very, very solid kit. It's not flashy, but it will hold up for years, and the module just blows away the TD07 and the Alesis Command module, and pretty much any module you can possibly compare it to around this price of $750. Okay, so the next three drum sets, they're all very similar to each other, so I'm just going to group them together. We got the 5.2K, which used to cost $700 for some reason, and it is now $559. Then we got the 3.2K, which is $480. And then we got the cheapest one, which is the DTX 402K, which used to cost $500 for some reason, and it is now $420. I'm not really excited about these drums. I did an in-depth review of one of them, and while it has really good build quality and the sounds are nice, the module is so basic and none of the tom pads or the snare drum, there's not a single like mesh or TCS pad there. And I just feel like customers are demanding more, even for the $500 drum sets now. And the very fact that they were trying to sell this for $700 is baffling to me. And even at $560, this drum set still doesn't really excite me yet. And then we've got the Yamaha DTX Multi-12, which is now $527, and the Yamaha EAD10. The Yamaha EAD10 for $500 is a really, really good value. You're getting an all-in-one miking system that also is a trigger for your kick drum, and it also comes with a module that allows you to plug in triggers or other pads. And it has a processor, so you're actually running your mic'd drum set through an effects unit, basically. So it allows you to easily record. It's just a really, really nice all-in-one system. It is still the most innovative hybrid electronic drum device on the entire market. It is really cool. I mean, there's other like innovative stuff out there, but as far as like usefulness to the maximum number of people in an affordable package, this one really takes the cake. It is really good, especially at $500. However, I'm not as excited about the Yamaha Multi-12 because it's been continuously sold without really any major changes since 2009, and it still costs over $500. Okay, so that's about it for edrumcenter.com. Now let's move ahead and talk about the sales that I've been seeing over on guitarcenter.com. Okay, so first up, we got the Alesis Nitro Mesh, which is now selling for $300. Remember like a year or two ago, or actually, no, earlier this year, I think this used to cost $500 and it is now $300. It's an okay value at that price, but it's just, back to slightly below what it used to cost in like 2019. And also it's been discontinued. They're going to be replacing it permanently by the Nitro Max, which I just did a review video on. So it's kind of hard to get excited about a drum set on the way out, but at $300, you definitely could do worse, so it does exist. According to the Guitar Center that I visited, this deal is going until December 24th. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so next up, we got the Simmons Titan 50, which is now on sale for $329. This drum set, in my opinion, is better than the Alesis Nitro Max. I think the drum rack is better. I think the module has better sounds built in. I just like this drum set quite a bit, and I think it's a really easy recommendation for $329. That is a very, very strong value. And according to the store that I visited today, this deal will be going on for until 11/29/23. So just keep that in mind. Next up, we got the Simmons SD1250, the review unit that I was sent. I gave it to my brother. He is still playing it, so it's already lasted a year. Nothing on it has broken, so it's still working well. And it is now $800 instead of being, what was it, $1,100 or $1,200, whatever it was when I first reviewed it. At this amount of money, that's actually a pretty decent deal. You're getting 4 toms, the cymbals are of decent size, snare drum on a dedicated snare drum stand. The sounds are still trash. However, they have actually updated the hi-hat module, or the hi-hat settings in the module, to make them perform better. I always love it when I talk about something in a review, a company sees it and they actually fix it, because it makes me feel like what I'm doing on YouTube actually has real world impact. Like when I did that review on the DWE, they actually fixed the problem that I had with my hi-hat where it completely turned itself off and I had to remove the batteries and put them back in. DW saw that problem in my video and actually put out a firmware patch really, really quickly after the video. So yeah, that's great to see. So next up, we got the Roland TD17 KVX2, which is now selling for $1,450. It used to be $1,600. In my opinion, I wouldn't really buy this one, not because it's a bad drum set, but it's just that I prioritize having a hi-hat on a stand rather than getting a TD17 module. So I would either drop down to $1,200 and get the TD07 KVX, or I would go up in price to the TD17 KVX2 and just get an overall better drum set. So next up, we got the Simmons Titan 20, which is now $219. It used to be $330. At this price, if you have a really, really low budget, I mean, this one definitely exists. I'd rather get a drum set with a kick drum tower rather than like this, pad on the ground, which was popularized, I think, back in the 90s, but it's still around apparently with drum sets like this. So I'm not really excited about this, but if you have an ultra, ultra low budget, this does exist. This will be going until December 13th, so the deal will last a little bit longer than the Titan 50, at least according to what I saw at the store. Okay, so the next drum set on sale here, at least in this list, is the Alesis Command Mesh Special Edition. This drum set is selling for $699, and at that price, I'm not excited about this drum set. It does have a better drum rack than the Nitro Max though, so keep that in mind. This is definitely a more steady drum rack. The next drum set on sale is the Alesis Crimson 2 SE, which used to sell for $1,100, and it is now $849. Now, I just saw this at the store, and I just played it actually today, and it looks like the sale will be going on till November 29th, so this will not be lasting that long at this price. I've played this drum set multiple times. I've also played the Alesis Crimson 2, and I've also played the baseline Alesis Crimson as well. They're all very similar to each other with little alterations and minor variations between them. However, the Cymbals SD1250 is a bigger drum set for less money. Next up, we got a drum set that I really like from Alesis, which is the Alesis Strike Pro SE for $2,300. It used to sell for $2,700. This drum set has gone up and down in price, but it is now back down to below what it launched at. So that is definitely good to see. In the United States market, it is impossible to find a competitor at this price that gives you this many components at these sizes and a module that sounds that good. Is the drum set perfect? No, it is definitely not perfect. There are compromises they had to make in order to get a drum set at this size with those options. But as far as value per dollar, it is definitely very tempting for a lot of people. I wouldn't buy this to play live, but for like a practice home kit, yeah, it is more than good enough for that. The next thing on the list is the Alesis Strike Multipad, which used to sell for $800 and it is now $600. Now, I've actually got one myself. I did accidentally break one of these knobs. It was one of the A-Link knobs. While I was moving to this new studio, I accidentally snapped it in half. That is not Alesis' fault. However, in order to fix this, I will have to mail it back to Alesis. So all I'm trying to say is, if you're moving this around, be careful that you don't get anything snagging on these control dials because you could accidentally break it like I have. Aside from that little tangent, this is actually a really, really nice device. This is a really good sample pad, and it's now somewhere in between the pricing of, how much is it? It's more expensive than the Yamaha DTX Multi-12 pricing, and it is a little bit cheaper than the SPD SX. Next up, we got the Roland VD307, which used to cost $2,900, and right now it's on price drop to $2,500. I think that's a much more accurate price for what they're offering. This is essentially a nicer looking version of a TD17K VX2. And you know what? It's a good drum set. I just don't think it's been very popular because of the price tag they were trying to sell it at. I feel like this might actually tempt a few people over to buy it at this price. So next up is the Evans Hybrid Sensory Percussion Sound System. It used to sell for $1,500 and it is now $1,349. So about $150 off. I haven't played this exact one, but I have played and reviewed Generation 1 when it was sold under the Sunhouse Sensory Percussion Sound banner. When you're partnering with a big company that's got a more recognizable brand name, you maybe want to lead with the more recognizable name in order to sell more units. I think that's part of their thinking here. I haven't played the new version, but I have reviewed the old one, and I gotta say that was the most innovative trigger system I've ever played in my life. It's definitely one of those products that won't be for everybody. It's for people that like to tinker and experiment and people that have deep pockets, because you're getting 3 triggers and it costs you over $1,000. So not for everybody, but really, really powerful. So next up is the Edrum Neo, which apparently now comes in a white shell. I kind of like the black on red more, but hey, it's a very unique look, and if you like it, now it's $300 instead of being $400. But if you like it in black, you can also buy the same thing from the original manufacturer for $289, which is what I would do if you like the idea of the Edrum Neo. Next up, we got the Simmons Titan 50 Expanded Edition, which gives you Tom 4 and a second crash cymbal for $409, which is a pretty good deal for that drum set. So next up, we got the Roland VD 706, which is now down to $8,000 instead of $9,000. I can't believe I just said the sentence down to $8,000, but that's the way it is. Flagship electronic drums will always be really expensive, and it's just for the people that like the idea of the highest end of the highest end. Meanwhile, in a more useful direction, especially for acoustic drummers that just need a couple of electronic sounds, we got this bundle. You get the TM2 module with 2 Roland BT1 bar triggers. The fact that you can put this on the sides of your snare or put them standalone, there's a bunch of ways to mount these. They actually are pretty useful. And at this price, getting the module and the 2 bar triggers, giving you that flexibility on your acoustic set, I think this is a pretty good value per dollar. Okay, so next up, let's take a look at the arch nemesis of Guitar Center here in the United States, and that is Sam Ash. Now you might be thinking, isn't like Sweetwater the 100-pound gorilla here? And yes, they are, but here's the thing. Sweetwater's mostly an online-only platform. They have an amazing primary campus. You got to go check it out. It's a really, really cool place. But they're 99% online only. Meanwhile, Guitar Center and Sam Ash, they compete directly against each other with physical stores all over the United States. And a lot of times they literally build a Guitar Center and a Sam Ash within 5 miles of each other. It seems to happen more often than not here in Tennessee and also in Ohio. And one thing about Sam Ash that I've noticed is that they somehow get a hold of electronic drums that have been discontinued and they end up selling them for longer than other websites. So for example, they still have a Roland TD50 KV drum set when everybody else has moved on to the KV2. And apparently it used to sell for $7,750 and now it's on sale for $6,500. But the question is $6,500 a good deal for this drum set? In my opinion, I'm not really excited about this because you're not getting the digital hi-hats and you're also not getting tom number 2. This next drum set is kind of surprising to me. Apparently Sam Ash is one of the last websites in the United States that still sells the original Alesis Strike electronic drum set. They don't even make the SE version of the Alesis Strike. They only have the Alesis Strike Pro SE. But this is back when you could buy one with just 3 toms and 1 crash cymbal. $1,900, in my opinion, that is not aggressive enough for this drum set because it's no longer the current one. And also just the number of components that you could get just by spending a little bit more to getting the Strike Pro SE on sale. This doesn't seem like a great buy to me right now. Another drum set that Roland no longer sells, but apparently Sam Ash still does, is the Roland TD1 DMK. They're selling this for $549 and it used to sell for $649. I think for what you're getting, it's a pretty good deal. Yeah, the TD1 module's outdated now, but hey, if you want to get this drum set, I wouldn't say it's a bad deal. By the way, I just visited a Sam Ash store right before filming this, and they got in the motherload of used Cymbals equipment from the 80s and the 90s. I saw an SDS5 kit, I saw an SDS5 module, or brain, what they used to call it back then, and a bunch of old brains from Yamaha, from Alesis, from Cymbals. I even saw this like kit selector that I've never seen in person before. There must have been like a studio or just a collector who just wanted to get rid of all that stuff all at once. I'm trying to think of a way all that sort of gear would just collect all at one time like that. Okay, so next up is Sweetwater.com. They have a lot of electronic drums that we already covered, so we're going to skip a bunch of stuff, but they do have a few unique things here on the list as well. Although I don't really know why the Alesis Nitro Max is here in the Black Friday section when this is literally brand new, but there are a couple of percussion devices that we haven't covered yet, so let's talk about those really quickly. The first one is the Cat Percussion KT MP1, which used to sell for $120 and is now $100. This is not a sample pad. You can't import your own sounds. It does have a selection of its own built-in sounds though. It has 4 zones and you can use it as a MIDI device. I used to work as a stagehand and I remember the drummer for a theatrical production using this for one of the plays that I was working once. Next up in the complete 180 opposite direction, we've got the Nord Modeling Percussion Synthesizer. This is like a synth, but for drummers. It's kind of like electronic drum brains from the 1980s and the 1970s. You're shaping your own tone. You're not playing back MP3 or WAV files. You are making your own sound. It is so unique. I enjoy playing it every time I see one. And then we've got the Keith McMillan Instruments Bot Pad, which I don't really see that often. I saw it one time at NAMM when they originally launched it. Apparently now they're selling it in red. It's very thin, it's very small, and it uses a massive FSR sensor that they call Smart Fabric. So even though it only has 4 zones, it's actually more in-depth than the Cat Percussion one because it can sense exactly where you are on the zone. It has a form of positional sensing, but using a different technique than Roland uses. Okay, so one thing that I've noticed after looking through all these different websites is that apparently Gava, ATV, and F-Note, they're not participating in any sort of like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or Christmas sales, unless they plan on doing like Christmas sales later on. But anyway, with the other sales, there was definitely some stuff that really caught my eye. Other stuff that I felt was more like a nothing burger, not really that exciting. But hey, now you know what's on sale, and maybe you found something that you found to be interesting for your situation. Otherwise, maybe you just had fun hanging out with me, looking at deals. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.